once again, everybody, thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free, and then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
JAKPrince.com.
Ah, yes, that's right. That voice you heard right there, none other than the Bone Collector, Dominic Garrini. He will be on this episode, along with Alex Worldwide Keller, back again.
Hello, everybody.
I figured you wanted to say hi. Also, of course, as always, joined by AIW owner John Thorne.
I don't got too much to contribute to this episode.
Yeah, my name is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts, and the reason John has not as much to contribute to this episode because this is the recap of Ain't Nothing But a Gangsta Party, our 420 show in which John spent the entire week in the hospital. So this was all hands on deck. Truly a team effort. If not that the other shows aren't, but this certainly was one. Our show with the Godfather / Papa Shango meet and greet, which I guess, well, we'll get there. We'll get to the Papa Shango stuff later. But it got a lot of attention, making its rounds on the internet. As it were. But, as we've recapped previously, if you listened to the episode where we talked about John's health, that was pretty much his week going into this. Not much going on for you besides sitting in that hospital bed all week, and a lot of visitors.
There's plenty going on. It just wasn't anything good.
A lot of visitors.
I still can't believe that food.
Yeah, it was bad. It was awful. But yeah, this really bummed me out because this is the first AIW show I've ever missed in my entire life. I was trying to go 100%, but guess that didn't work out.
And I guess it was, we talked about it on that episode, but it was probably what, Dom, like Sunday or Monday when we kind of band together and we're like, look, let's do this as though Thorne's not going to be there. We're going to hope that he's there, but we got to start making sure we've got everything
Sunday
covered.
night, I text messaged Pedro, and I said, I don't want it to be this way, but let's anticipate that John's not going to be released by Friday. And then Monday morning, I messaged you and Matt Wadsworth, and I pretty much said the same thing.
Yeah, and
which I thought I was going to get released, but, as I discussed, that did not happen.
It did not happen.
Yeah, and as the week rolled on, there were, certain small tasks. Like, to be honest with you, there wasn't much to do. Like, John had most of the show set up, but there were small little tasks that needed to be done, mainly stuff like getting 8x10s ordered, which I had my...
That was the big thing, because I usually order them like 2 weeks out, and I was in the hospital, and I couldn't get that stuff ordered, and I was like, fuck, like... now it's getting down to the wire and we don't have anything, but you can get them at like fucking any printing place, but I use a really cheap place online.
Yeah, I went with, I have my local Office Max does them, and they do a pretty good job, and the guy who actually does them is like a big wrestling fan. He always like leaves me like a wrestling promo quoted when like I come to pick up my 8x10s. He left me the Scott Steiner sacrifice promo this time. So he was like, I think that guy just gets real jacked up to do our stuff.
That's weird. That's strange. But yeah, that's I guess going back to the beginning. Godfather, like I wasn't sure how it was he would do, but I talked to this one promoter in West Virginia, and he said Godfather was like his best meet and greet that he ever had, ever. So I was like, so that kind of intrigued me. I was really more intrigued because I just wanted to get a picture with Papa Shango, in my life. But so I talked to him, and I thought the show just happened to fall on 420, so I thought like, what more of a perfect person to get on that date, unless just an RVD just wasn't in the budget. So
people definitely enjoyed that aspect of it.
The funny thing is, when he first took that booking from you, it didn't. These are from him himself. These words didn't realize necessarily that it was on 420 because you booked him a few months in advance.
Yeah,
and he just nonchalantly, yeah, okay, sounds great, man. I'll take the booking. Puts it in his calendar, and then he tells me all week long his phone is blowing up with people that want to fly him to different places and everything just because it's 420, just to appear at like hookah shops and all sorts of places to smoke and bars in Vegas. He passed up going to someplace in Vegas that was having a 420 show, and he would have been there hanging out. They wanted him to make an appearance while Dr. Dre, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and somebody else, it might have been Warren G or somebody, but they were all doing a show, and they wanted the Godfather there to be coming out on stage with them.
Well, we lucked out because
I think he made the right choice
because he lives in Vegas. That probably would have been a short drive for him.
Yeah, so he was listen, I will say this: my favorite person that I think I've ever picked up from the airport, as far as guest goes. I know Eddie and Swag, I want to get mad with that, but
I will say this: like he messaged me like 2 weeks before the show, and I was already in the hospital, and he like wanted to talk. He wanted to talk on the phone, and I was like, brother, I'm in with pneumonia. I got to have somebody else call you. And he was like, oh my God, get better, man. And like he would, over the 2 week period, like leading up, he would like send me texts like asking how I was progressing and how I was doing. So like I thought that was pretty, that was pretty considerate and nice because she didn't know who I was. I was just some random promoter.
It was fun because he landed at 9:30 with Tom Lawler, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with these guys? I called about getting them an early check-in. They said nothing earlier than noon we wouldn't have ready. Okay, no problem. It's 9:30 in the morning. I've got Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine, and Tom Lawler, the Ultimate Fighting Machine. I'm like, well, let's go to breakfast. You guys hungry? And Tom Lawler, by request, wants to go to Panera Bread for breakfast.
That's always Tom's
That's his spot, man. So it's just hilarious. We're sitting there, and there's families, wives and kids, and just people doing some business on their computers there. And here's Godfather just dropping backstage stories left and right of the early and mid 90s. And I'm like, it's probably stories that people don't want to hear.
I heard he wanted to see the Flats.
He wanted to see the Flats. We talked about that. He's like, I love Cleveland, man. We used to go to the Flats all the time. Flats was great. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, dude, we can go to the Flats. It's different now. So we did.
Yeah, because like people that don't know about Cleveland and the Flats, like the Flats is this area right on the water.
Yeah.
That in like the 80s and 90s was like total fucking just debauchery.
It honestly basically was Bourbon Street.
It was kind of like Bourbon Street for Cleveland, and the city just shut it down because it got like overtaken by like like the bars running cocaine and stuff like that. Yeah. But it was
too many people drowned too.
Yeah, some people drowned because it was right on the water, and like
all up ones.
All the bars were like right on the water, so some people would like fall over the patios and died and stuff. So like the city came in and like I want to say like around 2000 maybe, and they just like they like seized every piece of property and shut everything down there. Yeah. So like it was like the funnest place, and like people that came here in the 90s, they're always like, let's go to the Flats. Well, the Flats are back, but it's like a really classy like bar area now. Like no, from what I mean, I went to the Flats like one time. I snuck into a bar when I was like 16 or 17, and it was like 99-cent beers.
Yeah, this is not the same. Yeah,
I used to
now
go,
it's about
$9 when it was down there.
Now it's about $9 beers,
and it was out of control.
Yeah, it's about $9 beers now down there. So it's like a very upper class kind of down there as compared to before. It was like it basically was Bourbon Street is the best, I guess fucking description of it. But he told you a great story about the Flats.
Yes. So we're driving around, and he had told me this story ahead of time, and I was like, I think I know what you're talking about. and I show him the new stuff, and then I go and kind of there's that one street still of older stuff, and we're driving through there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, this is familiar. I know where we are now. This is great." And sure enough, there's a couple of hills that take you down into the flats, and he goes, "There he is, there it is. That's the hill right there. This is where we were." And Yoko had our rental car. He crashed it at the bottom of this hill. We got out of the car. We just ran, man. We left it there. Because he's telling me back in the day, they always got the full coverage insurance because that way they can get drunk. They can do whatever they want. Or if they get in an accident, it doesn't matter. They could smoke out some of these cars and
have a 600-pound man in there.
Have a 600-pound man. A lot of times they get SUVs. And they would do that so that whatever happens, you're fine. So they had full coverage. He goes, "Oh, we were so messed up. All we knew was we want to get to the flats. We drove down this hill. Yoko crashed the car. We got out. We ran. We left it. We went to the bars, man." I like you.
So he was definitely fitting in with the culture of AIW.
Oh, absolutely. He loved it already. He was enjoying being there. I heard some wonderful BSK stories.
Speaking of BSK, I believe an AIW student might be gang affiliated now.
Yeah.
WES West.
WES, tell us the tale.
I mean, there's not too much to it. I was just kind of wearing my BSK shirt, and Godfather was pretty hyped about it. He said, "I'm going to send this picture to Kishi, man. I'm going to send this picture to Mark." I said, "Please do."
I think that might be my favorite thing is that he refers, like, he just goes interchanging about the Undertaker. He'll say Taker, and then he'll say Mark, and
Yeah.
you got to know that's who he's talking about.
So I think I'm just a tad away. And then
So the Undertaker has a picture of you in his text messages currently.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, Godfather put it on Instagram, so
I don't know if
Kishi was
Mark's
a
on
big fan of
Instagram.
it.
I think he might have direct texted him that though.
probably on the McCool account or something.
Yeah, maybe.
He was definitely he was texting them that he was driving through the flats while we were there, and then he took a phone call from somebody from Cheetah's, his spot in Vegas, about a liquor order, and he was just going off about the flats to them. I'm just like losing my mind. I'm like, the Godfather's having the best thing ever, and it's only 11:30 in the morning. He hasn't even touched weed yet.
Right.
I'm like, all right, this is awesome. Then
Allegedly, by the way.
yeah, allegedly. The rest of the day happens. We finally get to the venue. We do all that great stuff. He's getting ready to go. And, of course, we have this meet and greet. And there he is, standing outside, taking pictures with people.
Oh, and I saw this at the hospital, and I was steaming.
He's in his full...
I saw fans tagging AIW Instagram, and like they're in the parking lot, and I'm like, what the fuck are these guys doing? They've already lost control.
So he's in full Godfather stuff. I'm like making sure we're starting on time, trying to figure out when we're doing doors, all these things. I'm running around, and then I walk by the door. Who it is? I notice that guy that we kicked out for doing video stuff. That's always just a little
fucking Big Tony.
Yeah, a little bitch was. He's taking a picture with Godfather, and I'm like, fuck no, this is not happening anymore. I walk outside, I go, "Charles, what are you doing? Get inside, man." He's like, "I thought we're not going until 6:30. I'm like, "I know, but if you take pictures with every fucker outside, none of them are going to give me money when we're inside." And he's like,
Edit that, please.
Yeah.
He's like, hashtag Steve runs AIW.
Yeah. Fuck.
He just looks at me and goes,
And-
"Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Steve." Comes, brings his ass back.
But
I'm like, "All right."
luckily, we were able to double our money on this deal, or at least recoup some of those lost
Yeah.
picture funds, since he also did the meet and greet as Papa
As Papa
Shango.
Shango.
Oh, he charges for that, brother.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's more for both.
Oh yeah, it's more for both.
Oh, damn.
But he knew I was just busting his balls, but I really wanted him side. And then he's like, "Oh, that makes sense. All right, that's cool." I got to tell you, there was a wedding getting ready downstairs because
that was an experience.
there was going to be a reception the next day, and they had like people practicing singing, and he is just doing nothing but making remarks to them the entire time, talking to the ladies, being the Godfather.
Being the Godfather.
Being the Godfather.
that poor family.
It ain't no gimmick, as he'll tell you.
Bless that family's heart,
Bless
though.
that family's heart as half of the card comes down with the crimson mask throughout the night.
They've got
And
And they have their tables set up with the
white linen.
And the white linens are set up. There was at one point, I guess someone told me that the one kid was like, "Man, why is everybody bleeding?"
Believe it. I
Blood
believe it.
capsules, brother.
Yep.
They were asking a lot of questions at the end of the day. They're like, "You guys get paid for this?" I'm like
Yeah.
standing around with
There
Man
were-
Justice. I was like, "Yeah, triple digits plus merch,
Protect
And they're
the
like,
biz,
all
bro.
right, all
Yeah,
right.
good work, Worldwide.
So the show endures a little bit of a delay. Some of this because the roster not there due to the fact that they're all visiting John Thorne in the hospital.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
There was
like,
that.
And I'm like, you guys better get down there. You know, it's 5:45.
There was that, and then there was a couple of late roster members showing up late, and which caused us to have to reshuffle some of the card.
That's true. Yeah, Facade was not going to get there until much later.
So we set the card up. Thorne and I, mainly Thorne, on Wednesday, I believe. I came and saw you at the hospital, and we set the card up.
Yeah, like I had it all booked and everything. And like the big thing is like getting the plane tickets and all that stuff organized, and then just trying to set the order for the flow. But I would say 9 times out of 10, the order always ends up changing based on a wrestler being late or, getting in a car accident or getting arrested or.
And there were 2 individuals that had some travel issues. One was Facade, who of course just conveniently was scheduled to be in the opener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always. It's always the opener. Yep. Always the opener has something going on.
So my remedy to that was, as I'm walking around wondering what to do with the opener, I just said, forget it. And I go up to Eddie Kingston and I say, you're opening, brother. I also then checked his gear bag to make sure that there were no wrestling shorts, as Worldwide likes to put, or basketball shorts. He then proceeded to say, nah, Dom, I'm going to wear my singlet. I said, that's fine. That's a form of gear. I'll accept it.
Accept it.
He did. So it's going to be Eddie Kingston.
What about the other travel, though? Because I just learned about this one today.
Oh, so I get a text, or actually a Twitter message from AJ Gray at about 4:30. He goes,
Forgot about this one.
He goes, hey, Dom, is there anybody coming from Columbus? I go, no. He's like, well, my car broke down. It looks like I have a cracked head gasket. I said, that sucks, man.
That's like death to a car.
Yeah. I'm like, that sucks, man. I was like, I don't know how you're going to get up here. He goes, do you have a credit card I can use? I said,
okay, I just want to point out nobody would ever give AJ Gray the credit card information.
I go, no, man, I don't. So he then is trying to figure out how to do it, and I then find out later that he took an Uber from Columbus to Cleveland that came out to around the tune of $240.
Jeez, oh man.
But when you're making triple digits plus merch.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, fucking AJ Gray, the guy that openly says he wants to find a girl to ruin their credit. I'm not gonna then give you my fucking credit card information. Sorry, brother. You really fucking put your foot in your mouth with that one.
I'm pretty sure that I don't know if his car has been returned from Columbus yet. Last I knew, he was going to get a trailer to go up and grab it.
Head gaskets are like it's dead.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he was hoping it wasn't the head gasket because this car that he has, he's telling me, he also has another.
He just
one
bought it, right, or something?
Yeah, but he has another one sitting at his place back in Tennessee or whatever.
He's one of those guys.
And it's just a parts car. So depending on what it was,
of course he's just got a parts car.
He could swap the parts out and be okay as long as it's not the head gasket.
Oh, okay, whatever. Okay.
AJ Gray.
AJ Gray. Just a luminary of our generation.
Yeah.
I felt bad. At the bar after the show, all covered in blood, having the time of my life.
Oh, let's talk about that.
All right, well, wait. Hold
Okay.
up. I was trying to
No.
buy brother AJ Gray. I was like, I'll buy your drinks, man. I
Okay.
made way too much money for having way too much fun tonight. And he's like, no, I'm going to buy my own damn drinks. So then I ended up buying him a couple of shots.
Daddy Dom's gonna come out here. And 2 moments. One is I go to the after party to say hi to everybody, and I see Worldwide there.
And a drink because you're forming a little bit of alcoholism.
I actually surprisingly did
Welcome
not
to the
drink.
dark side.
Yeah,
It's a slippery slope.
So I see Worldwide there, and still blood all over his face. Weird Body is with me. Weird Body's like,
You wanted to show it off, huh?
Just shrugging at this point, and I go up to Worldwide and I go, Alex, go wash your face.
No, man, you got to show it off.
He then argues with me, and then I take a stern fatherly tone. I go, Alex, go and wash the blood off of your face. And he's like, okay.
I was getting free drinks all over the bar with that.
Well, there you go.
Big up job, brother.
It wasn't until I didn't get there until about 2 a.m. So
You and Bev rolls in with his bandage
Oh,
around his
no.
head, and he just has this red dot in the middle. It looks like he's basically got the Japanese flag on the center of his head because it's all white with just this huge red dot in the middle.
Me and Bev were
holy
in a damn war, and we were veterans.
we will
of
get to that.
bar.
We will get to that.
When the boss is away, the blades will play, huh?
I'm trying to think of the other dad moment I had with you.
I hope
Oh, it was after we came through the curtain.
No, I didn't care about that.
There was light
that was
dadding.
Eddie Kingston.
There was
dadding
Eddie,
on
but there
that.
was also some dadding from you, where you're like, "Thanks, guys."
Well, it's because I'll get into that later. Fuck it.
Yeah.
The other dad moment was Saturday morning. We have a ring rental at the Hookah Connection.
Oh yeah.
Worldwide volunteers to drive the truck,
For the first time in my goddamn life,
oversleeps the alarm.
this has never happened in how many years now? 3 years?
3 years. I'll give it
And
to
it's
you.
happened to other people multiple goddamn
But hey,
times.
man.
I had my one.
Hey, don't worry. I was fine. But I find out that student Xavier, who you guys might see walk around the shows, was up and awake the whole time and didn't try to get you up.
Zay.
He was at your house?
Zay told me. Zay told me to give me the after party.
Freaking
Big Twan, Parker Pierce, who can't drive for reasons we can't discuss.
All the people that can't drive, they're at my place.
Yeah,
And
three people that couldn't drive.
oh yeah, if any prospective AIW students are listening to this,
Get your
fucking
driver's license.
and maybe get a car, but definitely get your fucking driver's license.
There's a lot of non-drivers.
3/4 of the school at this point, I feel. But let's get into the show because
WES is going to be driving those U-Hauls.
We get into the show. Finally, it begins, and as Dom said, you decided let's start it hot. Eddie Kingston and PCO, and one of my favorite quotes from Eddie about this is that PCO told him that I'm kind of stiff, and then he's like, all right, we'll see about that. And he was like, he was fine. Like
PCO is still rocking the bruised chest from Janela's spring break almost a month prior.
Oh, also,
I know that I can't remember why, but I know that PCO was booked like last minute. I don't know.
Oh, I remember who you wanted to.
Oh, because Gringo Loco had to cancel. I had reshuffled everything because he forgot that he had I forgot that he had Zelo Pro.
Well, yeah, and I think you had a certain, you wanted to make a
but he wasn't
Chikara
part of that
matchup,
match.
like a kind of old school Chikara match that just didn't work out.
Yeah, but no, that was taken off the table a long time ago.
Okay.
yeah, but Gringo Loco's replacement was later on. He was in that 4-way.
Yeah, but I reshuffled all kinds of stuff around.
Yeah.
And
So,
then obviously John, with his sickness, we had to make some other adjustments later in the week.
But I know PCO wasn't booked. He was booked kind of later in the game.
One of my other favorite Godfather things was trying to tell him who was on the show, and he was wondering if there's anybody that he would know. And I go, oh, yeah. I go, actually, I'm pretty sure that you probably knew
Pierre,
Quebecer Pierre. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's still wrestling? I'm like, well, he stopped for a while. He started wrestling again. And Tom's in the car, and Laura's like, yeah, he wrestled Walter, and apparently his chest was just like purple and black afterwards. And I was like, yeah, dude, he's doing moonsaults and flips and stuff. And Godfather just looks at me, Pierre? And I go, yeah. He goes, he wasn't doing that shit when I knew him.
So for sure, 2018 is kind of like where like last year Janela Spring Break kind of launched like a guy like Glacier back into like the hemisphere of like the popular culture of wrestling. PCO's been that guy this year with the Walter match, and I know he's done some other matches that were insane. Like he wrestled Ethan Page, and the match was crazy. And John booked him before spring break, and PCO comes from Montreal. They asked him what his nature of visit was at the airport and customs, and he goes, "Rock and Roll Hall of Fame," and they go, "Come right through, sir."
Good one.
It was another guy. I'm trying to do, get everybody's intros. I go, what would you like said? Oh, maybe just PCO. I go, you don't want anything else? Like, you want me to do like, where you're from? Like, no, it's PCO. I'm like,
former WWF Tag Team Champ.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't want anything. No, what? You can maybe do it like this. Pierre Carl Welland. PCO, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever you want.
You got it, buddy.
You got it, buddy. He's like, 255 pounds. I'm like, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll say that too. That's all he wanted.
PCO, man, busts out the dives, busting out the moonsault. My goodness,
this match
once that run.
This was another barn burner. John Thorne.
I got no input on this. I haven't seen the show
what
at all.
would you say this match was?
It was a doozy.
There we go.
It was a doozy.
Got to hit all the markers here.
It was, it was. I don't know. I don't know how to describe. I don't know what to relate it to in terms of describing it. It was hard hitting, obviously. Yeah. Very stiff, I guess I would say. Even though Eddie says that PCO wasn't too bad. I
did base just off the social media reaction. Try to book him for J-Lit and reshuffle some stuff around, but he was unavailable.
Yes. And he was very disappointed.
I got a personal phone call from him on Monday night.
He was nothing but a perfect jump.
Oh, he sent me. He like the Godfather sent me multiple get well soons.
Yeah.
And
that one message, I teared up a little bit.
yeah, he gave me a
Pure car roulette.
All class.
All class.
And he said that he gave us mad props for having a very nice organization.
Yep.
The Godfather also told me that he hopes I do well. He texted me first thing Saturday morning, and he says I have a first class organization, and I should be proud of how everything went.
There you go. Hey, we did it. Great.
Could have been all the students giving them free drugs, though. I don't know.
Was it just the students?
I think it was
that
everybody.
me?
The one bag was on the company dime.
It was.
You asked Pedro to reimburse you? You come with your fucking looking for petty cash?
Yeah. Do you have a receipt for that?
Yeah.
Pedro's a stickler on that stuff.
Come September, we'll be able to have receipts for those.
Okay, so match 2.
Match 2, we go MJF and Lewis Linden. MJF still getting told that he's Colt Cabana's son by the crowd.
But MJF had a question for Lewis Linden.
Oh, wait. Let me go back real quick because John Thorne will be very excited about this.
Yes.
The moment Eddie comes out, Gear Eddie chants erupt. Gear Eddie.
People know. He thinks people don't know. He thinks
Crowd
people don't
going
pay
crazy.
attention.
So there's
It
that
might have
for you.
when I printed the lineup out, it might have said under Eddie Kingston, Eddie must wear gear.
It did say that, yes. MJF wanted to know if Lewis Linden would captain his yacht because he now has a new boat. And he thinks that Lewis Linden is a pirate and captain of the ship.
How did that go?
Not well.
Not well, and though the guys went out there, had a heck of a match, and MJF took full advantage of the no rules stipulation.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Kick right in the ding ding.
Going a little GCW on him?
Oh, yeah, right in the dang-a-lang.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I thought he worked for the other company out there.
I'm working here, brother. Walk and talk with me.
But MJF wins, and then MJF had quite a night at the merch tables as was harassed all night by 10-year-olds.
Yeah. Children. You would have thought that MJF was the Duke.
I thought
He was not
more
endearing to the crowd.
He was not. It reminded me of that birthday party when all the kids were yelling at the Duke, and they followed him all the way back to like our locker room area. That was pretty much what these kids were doing to MJF.
Speaking of endearing, I just want to point out I still have not opened up that message from Grandmaster Sexay Brian Christopher. Just thought about that. I just want to give that update out there for the people.
On to match 3 now.
On to
Steve?
match 3, Tim Donst, and this is one of I know there was the ongoing joke hashtag Dom runs AIW, but this was a Dom thing. Tim,
No,
No, it
not
wasn't.
necessarily. This was a John thing.
this is a John thing.
Yeah.
Very much a
KTB?
John thing.
Brother, I could still book when I can't breathe.
Yeah. So
I thought
essentially,
this was a Dom suggestion.
No.
no. I
Okay.
mean, it wasn't.
Tom says it had some other suggestions.
Yeah, I had some other suggestions. The one later in the card was my suggestion.
But he did suggest he suggested Gary J for this spot, and I
One
said
of my ideas
I
was
did.
used on this show, so John was real sick.
Yeah. He suggested Gary J for this spot, but I just didn't. I didn't think that would be a good spot for Gary J to really shine working with Donst. Kyle the Beast, I distinctly remember him from Janela Spring Break. I thought he was in the clusterfuck, but he was he was in the
This was your
four-way.
tweet, yeah.
He was in the four-way.
And then Joey tweeted you.
But I definitely did see him wrestle at Janela Spring Break, and he has traveled out before. So I thought, because reshuffling of the card, something happened, and Donst did not have an opponent the week of,
Right.
or it was just something
I
that was.
don't remember how we got to that point. with
Yeah,
Donst
I know we
opponent.
had it blank. initially.
I remember who it was supposed to be.
I think I do too.
Okay, well, we'll discuss that off here because it sounds like it was going to be a real bombshell.
Yeah, it
No,
was.
it really wasn't.
And I can't.
If you listen to a
remember.
previous episode, you'll figure out who it was supposed to be, probably.
But
Yeah.
I can't remember. But anyway, Kyle the Beast, KTB. I thought that they would match up well. And anyone coming in working with Donst right away is guaranteed to at least get a reaction because Donst is he's kind of like Roman Reigns in the way that half the crowd likes him and half the crowd really fucking hates him.
That's fair.
And regardless, the crowd is going to be loud when he wrestles. So I thought that was a better spot for Kyle the Beast, and they're similar in style and
Yeah.
size.
Especially because Donst came out as Joey Janela for this particular match.
Did he?
He did.
Faked him out.
Came out to Joey's music, had a Chikara,
Using a little creative license, is he?
Instead.
Tim Donst booking his angles.
had sunglasses, kept sticking his tongue out every chance he got.
Donce knows he needs a match for Absolution, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
he's trying to point
Plant some seeds.
he's trying to point his ship in the right direction.
He was.
He should talk to Lewis Linden too.
He's going all in there. He does win against KTB. KTB, impressive. Here's another guy. His name's Kyle the Beast. I go up to him. Hey, what do you want said? From the woods, KTB.
There's a lot of initials: KTB, MGF, PCO.
Yeah, I'm like, well, do you want me to
okay.
say Kyle the Beast? No, just KTB.
Yeah, I think he's
All
just going.
right.
He's just going KTB now.
Yeah, no problem, man. I
Yeah.
can do that.
And obviously, Kyle or KTB, he wrote him with some guys, so that was a big help. And, if you guys want to see KTB back, you guys know how to do it. Just John Thorne AIW or John Thorne or AIW's Twitter accounts, just let him know.
There you go.
Get at me, dog.
The next match we go into is the one that was supposed to be the first match of the night.
Correct.
It is a 4-way, and now
This one is the one that got reshuffled because I had Gringo Loco.
right.
And I announced the match, and then he goes, "Dude, you forgot I can't do this one. I'm booked somewhere else." So then I immediately had to delete the posts and just act like I didn't announce it. And so we were looking for a fourth person, and this was Dom's suggestion in Gary J. Who Gary J's been trying to get back in AIW for a while. It just hasn't worked out. And Dom said, "Hey, like Gary J's available. Let's put him in."
People there were happy to be part of the Gary J movement. They were enjoyed it. This all aside from the Gauntlet. This was also Facade's first actual match back in AIW. Gary J back and Space Monkey we hadn't seen for some time because he had a nasty spill months ago and couldn't come to a
freelance
match that he was in.
Yeah, so I gave he's been wrestling, but it's kind of like it sounds bad, but it's kind of like if like you miss a show, you kind of get lost in the shuffle for a little bit until things kind of circle back around, because it's like wrestling just moves so fast, and it's like sometimes stuff just happens organically to where it's like, oh, we're going with this guy, and like it just doesn't work out. But Space Monkey, he's a guy that's good for a couple shows a year. Very big fan favorite.
And you guys are welcome. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that we see Danhausen wrestle by himself.
Correct. Yes.
Right, not as a tag or anything else with the production.
And this was just I put Danhausen in because it's like let's kind of see what he's got. I know what the other guys in the production can do. He's kind of a guy that's still a little. I'm trying to I just know the least about him, so I wanted to see him in a 4-way scramble, but just him,
Right.
Sort of situation.
Well, there was a fun standoff between a Spike and a Banana. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I saw that photo. I was following I felt like such an idiot because I'm like following the fucking Wrestling Cheers Twitter account while I'm in the hospital getting like fluid pumped out of my body.
Like in Major League 2 when the coach is in the hospital.
Oh, what?
He's like,
Worldwide, you are on fire
I'm
with
on
these
fire
references
with the
today, brother.
the Deep album sequel
I
cuts.
love it.
I love this fucking
Two shows
Masterpiece
in a row.
Theater shit.
Yeah, I was.
God, I'm so happy right now.
I'm like watching. I'm trying to follow my own show in which I booked all of the finishes and I know everything that's happening, but I'm like fucking sitting there just refreshing fucking Twitter. I'm going back and forth between Caden's Twitter to see if he's got any good videos to fucking Wrestling Cheers Twitter to then I'm looking on the Instagram, I'm trying to see what's going on. I'm trying to see what the crowd looks like. I'm trying to see if the fucking empire is falling down because as the show's going, there's no contact at all.
Right.
The group chats go dark, man, and it's like I'm sitting there alone with these fucking IVs and this tube in my fucking lung, and I'm fucking got my phone plugged in and I can only use my right hand, and I'm fucking just refreshing my Twitter the whole time.
Shout out to Matt Wadsworth, who was trying to keep the group chat going while he's doing
I do remember. I
commentary.
did ask PCO when you asked me if I could give him the J-Lit dates, and I remember running downstairs to do that.
And then I asked him too, and he said Dom had already talked to him, but at that point he had known that he probably, if anything, could only do one. This match also, we had some unintentional blood. There was one small moment, and Danhausen Comes up bleeding.
Oh, nose, right?
Yeah, ends up being his nose. May have been broken. Not sure.
I think he's fine.
It was a little off, but
Can't see through the paint.
yeah, that was the biggest problem. I couldn't tell. I see blood. I'm like, where the hell is this blood coming from? I can't see anything because he's got that face paint that John Thorne loves so much.
Face paint, man.
Space Monkey
Medical obstruction face paint.
Space Monkey picks up the win, and then this takes us into a singles match with Eddie Only taking on PB Smooth, one half of the tag team champions.
This is also another thing. It's like, we've seen PB versus Frankie. We've seen PB versus CK.
Yeah.
Let's, put the smallest guy in there against them.
And crowd enjoys. I think everybody enjoys. PB comes out to his music, and then Eddie comes out to his old music. And that made Pretty Boy Smooth pretty hot. He was.
Oh, he came out to Pretty Boy's old music.
Pretty Boy's
he did,
old music. Yeah.
Oh, the mind games. We're playing
games.
the production played
Hail
mind
to the
games.
chief. That's right.
Mind
Production
games.
playing mind games.
Production playing mind games, and they played the numbers game, I believe is what I heard in
They
this
played
match.
the numbers game, the beat down.
We're
Like
telling
the bleed all over the place like a stuck
Well,
pig game.
I got a story about that.
Well,
so
yes.
we can finish.
we're making movies
Mr.
here. We're
Smooth
telling
does
stories.
Throw Eddie Only into one of the posts, and boy, Eddie comes up looking like the whole nature boy. There's blood everywhere coming down that face.
A little peek into this. I find out later from another member of the production that Eddie Only had drank a half gallon of orange juice, had taken a half bottle of aspirin before.
Half bottle?
Yeah, over the course of the day before the match. So that would explain the color, guys.
Secrets of the ring revealed. Come on,
A
Dom.
lot of color.
This was an NBC special when I was a kid.
Eddie Only could have passed out in a sharpshooter. I'll say that. That much
Yes.
color on that face. Unbelievable. So then they beat down old Pretty Boy Smooth and talking about how nobody.
Pretty Boy Smooth, not a fan of me suggesting that he change his last name to Flannery and try to get a job on Raw.
He's not Black Irish, man.
I said,
you can't make it happen.
I said Black Irish, man. PB Flannery, Finn Balor,
Shaquille
Hornswoggle.
O'Neal.
Oh man, you could put.
I do.
Right on the Raw.
Before we get into the beatdown, though, I do remember after everything was done, Eddie Only coming downstairs, and as I'm just down there looking at me bloody, and goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't think I'd bleed that much."
He bled so much, so much. Thank God this match was right before intermission.
Yes.
I mean,
Luckily.
blood everywhere. People are trying to.
But what happens after the match?
Yeah, let's get to the aftermath.
So they
That's where the
beat
money's at.
down PB, take care of business. They talk about how nobody can stop the production.
My creative genius, because Dom suggested a Godfather do a spot.
I did suggest a Godfather spot. I will take the egg on face for that.
I was suggesting a different Shango spot, but there had to be a Shango spot.
And out comes Papa Shango. The music hits, comes out, says no words, gets in the ring, and then does some sort of voodoo, shouting things. Next thing you know, the production vomiting, black ooze, and falling apart all over the place. The crowd going crazy.
I wish you fucking guys would have sent Papa Shango to my hospital room so he could have fucking sucked out all the shit that was
Oh, that
inside my
would've
body.
Yeah, he could have done that for you.
I would have loved to have thrown it up.
And then an internet sensation was born, just like that, because that story has been all over the place.
Well,
since
I
then.
also remember when we were making the decision between a Godfather or Papa Shango idea, it came down to who we thought would get the bigger pop and also who should we go in the intermission signing with.
Yeah.
And we did generally think that I think you, me, and Wadsworth, John, thought that the Godfather would be the bigger pop and likely the bigger meet and greet. So we decided to go with the Godfather to start because we thought the meet and greet line would be longest for him, so we didn't want to do that during intermission as well. That was another thing that factored into it.
Yeah, and I thought almost for sure that he would be painting up like in between. So I thought that would be a good way to go in intermission. But I did think the Godfather music would have gotten a bigger pop.
Yeah.
From the live crowd. But I mean, it's AIW, man. It's got to be Papa Shango.
Yeah.
Well, and he was with the right people. The production doing that was fantastic. Frankie was great with it. Derek was
Frankie looking really imposing with his fucking neon fanny pack on in the
And his
photos.
fedora.
of course, CK just selling the crap out of that voodoo, just being amazing with it. And that honestly, though, the meet and greet line for Papa Shango
That's what I heard.
was pretty long.
That's like, I mean, honestly, when are you going to fucking see Papa Shango?
Well, and what I'm thinking is, I think
Papa Shango had a hot run and then a short
amount of time, yeah.
but hot,
About
dude.
2.5 years.
Without that moment, though.
But everyone from that age remembers Ultimate Warrior just convulsing and puking green shit.
Right.
Exactly.
Without that moment going into intermission, I don't know that the line is quite as long. Had we done Papa Shango first?
That's a John Thorne.
We're telling stories
here,
brother.
Stories,
Right.
and
We're
that's
making
all.
moments.
And that made everybody remember and realize, like, oh my God, yeah, that was great. I want my picture, getting a voodoo curse. Now, not only did that extend the intermission, but also the amount of blood from Eddie Only's face had to be cleaned up so much that intermission had to go a little bit longer. We had to mop the ring.
That's all right.
It probably helped from
Mop
it
the
probably helped
floor.
AJ Gray from his Uber ride.
That's all right.
Prepare.
That's all right.
true.
We're making money, baby.
What's up, everybody? Alex Worldwide Keller here to tell you all about at Thrift Store, Jobber, Instagram, Etsy, eBay, and etc. And have you guys ever wanted to get on the whole train? Or have you ever wanted to just get the shit scared out of you by some voodoo man? Well, I can't help you out there, but Thrift Store Jobber, he's made an original item here this week. It's beautiful. He made these Godfather Papa Shango posters, and they're available at thriftstoreJobber.bigcartel.com. That's thriftstoreJobber.bigcartel.com. And don't forget our sweet sponsor of a benefactor, the man that helps bring you AIW. The card is going to change at Thrift Store Jobber. Follow him, Instagram, Etsy, eBay, and etc.
So we leave intermission and we go to start the second half of the show. And we go into a 10-man tag team match with all members of No Consequences, taking on Josh Prohibition, 2 Infinity and Beyond, and 2 more mystery partners, which end up being the boys from Jollyville. Thorne, any thoughts on, or any words on how you came to this decision, throwing those 2 guys in there?
2 fucking 2 young, young gritty veterans. 2 more,
Yeah.
Guys,
they worked well with this group last year with going into Absolution.
But I mean, they're guys they're like young vets,
Yeah.
They've been around the block for a while.
Right.
And, it just goes back to that, like, you want these spots, you got to fucking come get them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the gatekeeper sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to earn the respect of your, your peers and your almost superiors, technically.
Yeah. This match kind of just a train wreck because you have 10 guys just brawling everywhere. Of course, no rules on this entire show. So they're all over Mount Carmel, just beating the hell out of each other. We see a Josh standoff with metal chairs in the ring. And but ultimately, it's the vets. They pick up the win on this one here. So any thoughts of the future on this? Have we seen the rest of this rivalry between Josh Prohibition and his vets and the young guys?
No, because it's not Absolution yet, Steve.
We're telling stories, Steve.
Making movies.
Allowing and advancing the stories, guys. It's part of the job as the moderator. You gotta.
Well, we'll have
you
to
gotta
see
bring that along.
We'll have to see what the J-Lit weekend brings.
Gotta bring that along.
We have to see what J-Lit weekend brings to these groups of individuals. As a lot of the No Consequences guys make their 1 year anniversaries on J-Lit weekend.
Yeah, there we go. Then we roll into a singles match, and this gets interesting right away because this is probably something that we definitely should discuss because it's been on another podcast. Ethan Page and Matthew Justice, and immediately Ethan Page not happy with a member from the crowd.
I mean, it doesn't really need to be talked about that much. It's like,
Nope. He did
just
a whole podcast on it.
Yeah, it's just common. It's common sense, Like,
No hard F's, guys.
I mean, come on. Like, would you walk into your work and you got to think, like, what would you shout out loud at your job?
Right.
I'm all for freedom of speech or whatever you want to feel or whatever. That's fine. But like, you got to understand that everyone doesn't have the same views as you.
Yeah.
And like,
Read the fucking room.
It's gonna make people mad. So you gotta understand that there's going to be repercussions for that. Like,
Yeah.
it's like there's freedom of speech, but there's also freedom of fucking, getting somebody pissed off at you. Like,
Yeah, I'll be honest. Being in the ring, I knew something was shouted, but being the guy who's about to say more words, I always pause because there's typically somebody who says something,
but it's just like it's like dead noise though, white noise.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
For me, yeah, it is. But then he grabs the microphone, and I see their reaction, and then I realize, oh, what the heck just happened here? From that point, those two battle through the crowd. I made sure to try to be extra security. I was keeping people back due to tensions being high. Also, a couple of little kids keep trying to listen, if you are a parent and you bring your kids to this show, even before the show starts, we say, get out of the way. Please keep an eye on your kids, because there's two little kids who keep trying to get in the middle up close to Ethan Page and Matthew Justice, who don't have any regard for their bodies. Why would they have regard for yours? These guys just destroy each other, and we got to keep pulling these two kids back. Hey, back up. If you're a parent, you got kids, keep them the hell away from what's going on here while these guys are brawling through a crowd.
But yeah, I mean, that's really all that needs to be said about that guy. It's just like, people just got to have common sense, Like, if you feel a certain way, that's fine. You feel that way, but like, don't shout it in a room of a few hundred people, because you're more than likely going to piss somebody off.
Yeah, the guy had left.
And don't yell about freedom of speech or the fucking First Amendment, because it's not the government telling you to shut the fuck up. It's some fucking other motherfucker. So just deal with that shit, you baby.
The guy did end up leaving. For people who are asking us,
I guess some
kick him out or
some
anything.
fans followed him to the parking lot. I don't know.
People made sure that things were said to him, and we did receive an apology
from somebody
he was with.
Yeah, one of his friends.
Yeah, very long apology. So
it's just be smarter. You know what I mean? Like, like generalize it. You suck. That applies to everybody.
Exactly.
That's not going to piss anybody off.
Exactly.
Unless you're the Duke, and then he's going to take it personally.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, that does take away from what is a very fun and awesome match with these two, just brawling everywhere.
And
having
the
a good time.
big ending, right?
Big ending, and then Ethan Page is out there. Out comes Dr. Dickhead with his headset once again.
His white suit again.
White suit once again. Creates a distraction to Matthew Justice, and Ethan Page is able to pick up the victory. And then Dr.
New alliance?
Dr. Dan taking credit for it. Says it's all him. He did a great job. And that apparently leads to a new alliance. Yeah, as you said, I guess.
Yeah, as Ethan Page said, get me in the jail-it, and we'll be together. And Ethan Page in the jail-it.
A dadly alliance, if ever there was one.
Oh, dadly alliance.
Very good.
How about that?
Very good.
I have my moments.
You're doing good this recording session.
Yeah, look at you. No,
A little bit of a hangover, a little bit of a Chinese buffet.
I was gonna say no sauce.
I'm ready to go.
half basketball of lo mein noodles.
Oh no, strictly chicken, and then a bunch of crab, and then the bathroom, and here I am.
No dessert.
I drove by that buffet with a lady the other day, and I said, "Oh, she's like, what is that place?" And my friend, I said, my friend Worldwide, he goes there every single Sunday for a $4 buffet. And she said, nobody should ever eat anywhere where they serve meat all you can eat for $4.
It's a valid point.
If it's pigeon, it's great pigeon.
All right. Well, you want to give a shout out
If
to your
it's
$4
cat,
buffet?
sorry, Whiskers, it's great cat. I'm a cat dad now too. I hope it's not cat.
Well, it's good that you're talking here, Worldwide, because then we talk about the next match. Starts off as a tag team match between the Philly Marino Experience.
The biggest compliment that I ever received, I read on Twitter about this match, in which they said an ECW pay-per-view just broke out in the middle of the AIW show, which was 100% what was in my notes as to how this goes. It was an ECW pay-per-view tag team match that people just it just keeps growing.
PME starts it off against hashtag Duke Money, Mance Warner, and Jock Sampson, and then out come the Young Studs.
After about 2 minutes of action.
And they've got weaponry with them, so it's already going to get crazy. And then Worldwide, why don't you go ahead?
About another 2 minutes go by, and a gunshot rings out through the PA. A woman shrieks. Natural Born Killers is playing. The applause, thunderous. Who could this possibly be? It's not New Jack. We know it's not New Jack. Is it New Jack?
I
think
think
so.
Yeah, I think people were thinking it was New Jack.
Many
for a
people
quick
were thinking
second.
it's New Jack.
And then out through the curtain comes the Weird World.
With a shopping cart.
Dressed like New Jack.
Yes, we, I gimmicked up a couple of Weird World shirts, with the tassels. I put my fingers to the bone, putting like some tape at the end of the tassels, just to like make them like pop a little bit more. And,
Like New Jack had those, like, it looked like he always looked like he had some beads going on there.
Yeah. And, camo pants. I got a Weird Body, like a nice pair of thrift store athletic pants. And we didn't have a belt for them, so we just used athletic tape to make sure.
Oh yeah, that's old school.
Now, if Papa Shango got an incredible pop, you as well did worldwide, but you broke some hearts in doing so, because here are your buddies, the PME team.
It's true. We're coming down, and PME, they're there in the aisle, and they're like, "Oh, worldwide, where am I? What are you guys doing here? That's fun." They're dancing. They're dancing to the song, having a good time. I'm like, I have a guitar that I have expertly prepared. I'm ready like nothing else in my life, especially after the month previous when JEFF was not able to get the JOB done with Dr. DAN. And we're dancing. He Watusi's around, and
Whammo!
it's like fucking Philly told me in the back. He's like, "Brother, like you're fucking winning a prize for your girlfriend at the fair. I want that thing over my fucking head." And it exploded.
It did.
I saw the clip. I was very excited about
I think
that.
it's 3,000 views deep now on the Twitter, somewhere in there.
And then,
This was actually an idea you pitched to me. And,
I pitched it as,
and you forgot, and you did not know.
well, it's because like I pitch things all the time, and like sometimes.
on Wednesday, I sent a text to Worldwide.
Well, no, I was getting hyper emotional with you regarding John, Thorne being in the hospital
Yeah.
and everything, and you're like, "Well, you're working this Friday, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" And then he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna do a fucking run in as the Gangstas and da 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 da." And I was just like, I went from like fucking crying at work to like just pacing, like fucking like,
Adrenaline rush.
like a fridge. Like I was like fucking losing my mind. Like I was scaring my fucking coworker because she's like, "You were just, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I think I am."
Focused. I'm ready to go.
And I'm like, I made phone calls to people that were in the match. I'm like, "I'm ready to fucking jump off the fucking bleachers. I'm ready to bleed 10,000 buckets. I'm ready."
We could tell.
Everything. And they're like, "Well, we're not, we have to be cognizant of the main event, and we'll keep it mellow and da 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 da."
Mellow it was
And
not.
But I put it on like second to last and late because I knew that no matter what Eric Ryan was told,
Yep.
he was going to do something really stupid anyway. So I said, we might as well put it on late because, this guy's going to do something that's going to destroy his body that no one else is going to want to top anyway until the main event.
You mean, like
And the
landing
thing
on a
is,
shopping cart?
honestly, like after the match, we were all looking at each other and we're like, "No, I'm pretty all right." I mean, fucking like there was like a one weird bump on like a shopping cart or
Yep.
two, but like besides
Yeah,
that,
how Eric Ryan-
AIW
Yeah.
shopping cart.
Yeah, how Eric Ryan didn't end up in the hospital bed next to John Thorne post going through that shopping cart. Still,
I told Thorne, I'm like, "I'm gonna send you some fucking neighbors, motherfucker."
The,
Cheech wound up at my
I
hospital.
was just going to say,
did.
this reminded me going backwards.
And Colin Delaney says, "Hey, where are you at? Cheech is in the emergency room, and this place is scary. I'm just going to sneak up to see you."
I was trying
said, "The whole place is scary, brother."
I was trying to think. I was like, I knew there was some blood in the 10-man match, and there was. And it was from Cheech. He had a scary moment, and I think it was just him actually exiting the ring after the bump, and he's rolling out, and then he came out and he tossed his head back, cracked the back of his head open. He was so mad at himself. He's on the ground. I checked on him. He was like, in Cheech fashion, he's like, "I'm all right, just an idiot." Cracked my head. I'm like, oh man, he was gushing.
Yeah, so when he was in the emergency room, Colin Delaney's fucking security breached the fucking visitation hours, and he stayed up in my room for about 2 hours. Told me all about his new fucking booming cereal business up in Rochester.
There you go. But then back to this wild
Yeah. So
four-way.
yeah,
Blood everywhere.
First time getting I was telling people that night, and I'll say it again. A Pandora's box has been opened that cannot be shut. All I want to do for the rest of my life is just wear camo pants and bleed and walk around.
Did you get it the hard way?
It's yeah. Me and Jock Sampson collided heads fighting over a clapper toy that we were chopping each other with.
I just want to wear camo, dude. You're gonna have to start hopping in those IWA Mid South cars, brother, with that
about
attitude.
to.
I also saw Jock Sampson going with the broken guitar and literally just digging a sharp wooden end into people's foreheads.
Yeah, it was great.
Sounds about right.
It was a lot of fun.
Giving them blood that way.
I'll do it every month for the rest of my life.
Oh no!
Maybe 4 times a month. Let's work this thing around.
You're gonna get that forehead going.
Just remember orange juice and aspirin.
I'm pretty good. I don't know. I think I did pretty good, all things told. My ear is still. Somebody hit something in my ear.
You can't cut that forehead up, man. My grandma said you were a really handsome man when you were at the hospital.
Well,
She's like,
I'm healing
real
up
handsome
pretty
guy
well,
with those
I'd say, all
flowing
things.
blonde locks.
I'm a very handsome man. Scott Norton recently liked a tweet of mine. He vanity searched his own name because I said he tells no lies when somebody accused me of looking like Carl Urban. Or no, it was Jason Momoa. None of it makes sense. I don't know what people in Cleveland do when they see actual celebrities because they just have to explode.
Here's what I want you to go ahead and explain, because everybody asking, why did the music never stop?
Because that's fucking New Jack, motherfucker. That's how that fucking shit works. All right, I'm gonna fucking go on a goddamn. All right, I'm like young stage millennial, like on the cusp of being Gen X. I'm not Gen X, thank God.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, we're right there in that little like cushion zone. But the lack of history and respect for history of this fine sport really grinds my gears.
Yeah, because you were like, man, people keep asking. I said, dude, if you think about it, that was like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
18, 20 years ago. And I'm like,
It just seems like yesterday to me.
but I mean, if anyone had any interest, like, it's New Jack. Why would you not want
Although they watch the network and they don't understand because they get that dub over.
Yeah.
Which is why ECW on the network is useless.
But
that's another story.
I will say that match absolutely deserved a soundtrack anyway in its own right.
It was amazing, and then afterwards, Weird Body cut a hell of a promo.
How many justifiable homicides does he have?
Yeah.
How many are we going to get in the Biggins Cup? At least 4. And we just let everybody know that
It's funny that you say that because when I was really down at the hospital, I just watched Beyond the Mat like multiple times on YouTube to get myself cheered up.
Yeah. I was watching New Jack shoots like the night
He
before. Like,
he can't be Denzel.
He's Denzel's friend.
He's Denzel's friend though.
Then I would-
Worldwide Young created Woo Jack.
Then I would get a little sad when I see Dennis Stamp, but then I'd realize that we were his next match, and he was discussing it at that time in Beyond the Mat, his last
finally
match,
happened.
and we were the next match even from that point on.
So
That's
that's
things we done. So yeah, that was a good time.
But in the end, we now know the first team in the Chandler Biggins tag tournament.
it's the weird
the
world.
weird fucking world.
Are you guys going gangster weird world, or are you guys going regular?
I don't know. You've been hating on face paint so much, so much lately. Maybe we'll come out as the Legion of Weird.
Oh boy.
Boy.
Give us a nice students team to fucking Road Warrior squash in the first round.
I will
Get you a
say-
bottle of Tito's.
I'm not drinking right now.
All right, well, we'll
Saw
find you
sabbatical for John Thorne.
J-Lit weekend's gonna be the real test.
The theme for me.
Oh, that kratom
all night-
stuff is no good.
The theme for me all night was
That could have been what got me sick in NOLA.
Finding cleanup crew was definitely the theme all night.
We have about
And that
96
happened again.
students, so
Happens again after this match because there was blood and broken weapons and everything.
That's all I'm doing from the hospital. I'm seeing pictures and I'm in the group chats. You motherfuckers better have mops. You guys better clean up every speck of fucking blood. No one was supposed to fucking bleed like this.
We had
the whole
mop.
second half bled pretty much.
Yep, we had the mop
I
from
was furious.
the mop from Eddie Only, and I said, put that over to the side, put it right by the stage, because we're gonna need that a lot, and I don't need people running around. And then I went and found a push broom at one point, and I said, keep this over here, because we're gonna need those. And we were sweeping and we were mopping. Eddie Kingston and I had to entertain the crowd, I guess, because that took so long. People were getting a little restless. thanks to that major tag team match had brokenness all over the place. And then finally we got to the main event, which had mystery partners.
This is another thing that people didn't understand. They kept going, what is a dream partner tag? That is another ECW staple. People didn't understand what it meant.
Well, we had Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
Don't get on the torrent sites and get yourself some good old ECW and just do yourself a freaking favor.
Hot Sauce is to pick a dream partner. Nick Gage is to pick a dream partner. And Dominic Garrini comes out, which me knowing that Dominic Garrini is going to be coming out barefoot, I was definitely making sure that the ring was cleared to start with.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. And the floor around it. And I wanted to make sure that it was dry for Dom coming out barefoot,
Thank
not
you.
wanting to slip everywhere.
At least you guys were conscious enough to not put the new canvas on.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, no, we were fine on that. We knew
That thing was never leaving the unit.
I did ask somebody that before the show. I was
Absolutely
like, I
not.
didn't look yet. What canvas is on the ring?
No, we were smart enough. We had that powwow on Wednesday at training that make sure you bring what we refer to as the hardcore canvas. Backstory on at least Tom Lawler in this match.
Yeah, this was
Tom
one of the
Lawler
other
just
fun-
sat in the crowd for pretty much the whole show
The
with
entire
with a
show.
psychosis mask on.
Yep, he had a psychosis match. Thanks, shout out Thrift Store Jobber.
Yep.
Gave him that. Wearing a flannel shirt and jeans, just sitting in
I
chairs.
think borrowed from Josh Bishop.
They were borrowed
Yes.
from Josh Bishop. People thought Josh Bishop was sitting in the crowd the whole time.
And there's Tom Lawler just hanging out in a psychosis match, watching matches,
Just bending reality. for
clapping
you
with
folks.
everybody, cheering sometimes. People will try to talk to him. He just blowed off. They knew it was him.
And then jumping me from behind.
And then he jumped on from behind. And ripped
In the
off
psychosis mask?
In the
Yes,
psychosis
and then he
match.
took it off to reveal Tom Lawler back from his arm injury.
Sat in the crowd for like
Because I had heard a
3.5
rumor
hours.
that he was going to dress like Nate Hatred.
He was going to.
He was going to.
There was someone though that ixnayed that idea.
Oh, okay.
So then these guys ended up bleeding all over the place.
Oh no, only I did.
Just you?
Yeah, only just
No,
me.
Nick. I thought Nick. Nick
Nick
bled a little.
kind of bled a little bit.
Yeah.
But we started. That match started off going everywhere. Tom and I brawling into the bathroom.
Did Tom Lawler remind you of any sort of like Van Damme movie worldwide? Because he's in the jeans and he's like glistening in sweat and he's like this martial arts guy and he's got the wrappings around him.
I mean, he would if he would just watch that goddamn movie. I'm not going to acknowledge a thing he does. He tried to tell me Foot Fist Way was better than Bloodsport without seeing Bloodsport, and I was like, well, that's not true. But then I watched Foot Fist Way. It's on fucking Hulu.
It's good for different reasons.
But it's not
Yeah.
fucking Bloodsport.
But Tom Lawler might have gotten a swirly in the bathroom.
See
Administered by
that?
me.
Did Gary film it?
Gary filmed it.
Bully Dom.
Gary filmed it. Had busted the bully out on me.
You gave him a swirly?
I then proceeded to break one of the trash cans that I bought specially for the venue with a chair over his head.
Yeah.
He then gave me some stomps, and then Nick Gage got into the match, and the rest is history. As Thumbtacks ended up in the ring, and
Thumbtacks all over.
I have no shoes on, and
Tom has to walk across them.
to try to save Tracy Williams, and I save him. Tom then takes me down as my feet hurt, and takes his pad off his newly reconstructed arm and busts me open.
Yeah.
With the fucking steel plate.
The steel plate.
Lex Luger'd you.
Lex Luger'd me MMA style, straight from the guard, and
Are they going to let him fight with that in there?
I would assume so, but
Ooh.
he's probably got to get some kind of like clearance of some sorts.
You shouldn't tell anybody. You should just get
can't.
in
Yeah,
there.
you really can't use the front of the forearm though. Realistically, unless you're, it'd be difficult,
Grind that steel up against their face.
right? But
have
yep,
to get
and then Tom hit me with some sort of tombstone type maneuver on the Thumbtacks, and
That was it.
that was it.
Those thumbtacks feel better the second time?
Nope, they suck every time.
All right. Put on some shoes, man.
I thought about it, really did.
I wrote a bunch of the reviews I was hearing on podcasts coming out of Mania weekend is everyone's really stressed out about your feet.
Well, they're going to be twice as stressed out when they see this video of me walking through Thumbtacks.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
One of my favorite tweets, though, had to come out when somebody said something, and then they retweeted back at Thorne. It was, Dom just walked through Thumbtacks barefoot. That's the kind of level-headed person you want to run your show.
I mean, I've done way worse, probably.
Yeah. So, exactly. So,
I mean, that ended the show.
yep. And to answer some of the questions I got, I did not yell at anybody. Shockingly enough, there were no freakouts.
Nope.
and everything was fine.
You were a little upset that the cleanup was taking a while before your match. And
Because it was probably about 11:30 at that point, and I was trying to get you guys to the fun house to enjoy your time.
Yep, it was almost 11 o'clock, I think, when I was talking to you about it. And we ended about 11:30 or so.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Tom. But I knew in my mind, I was like, look, man.
And also, thanks to that wedding, we didn't really have to worry about cleaning.
Yeah, the wedding helped out the locker room situation, of course.
Yeah, they kept cleaning up the entire time.
You have to imagine, like, just the locker room slowly getting swallowed up by this just, like, beautiful table setting for this wedding.
It was bizarre, but
we were all pretty much by the bar area.
Yeah, by the very end, like, we had, like, 2 tables, and, like, just everyone was just slowly, like, loading their shit up.
Yeah, but overall, I think that the show, in John's absence, turned out exceptionally well, and, without him being there, it was a show that he'd be proud of.
Yeah. Can't wait for him to see it on DVD.
We'll see about
that. VOD, and all you people.
I mean,
smartmarkvideo.com.
In fairness to John, a point that you've spoken to multiple times, it kind of runs like a machine on show day. We all know what to do, or those of us know who to delegate to different things, and it runs and we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, all the work is really leading up to the show.
There was one near freak out, and I don't think if I told John this yet, but we're setting up the merch tables, and I noticed that there's no pins, and that the WrestleMania special edition hats that we have left over, that many people had asked about, are not there. And I then lose my mind, very calmly though, and I say, would somebody please go back to the storage unit and get them? About 5 minutes passes, a car goes, and Weird Body comes up to me and is like, oh, they're in the shopping cart that has the weapons in it. And we had them, and I calmed myself back down, and all was right with the world.
I must have been on the beer run at that point.
You were.
Yeah, we got the beer picked up. We got pizza picked up.
And you guys
I also went and I came in 16 cents under budget.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
For the gimmicks at Value World.
Oh, for the gimmicks I told you to buy, right?
Yeah.
Good. For those of you who don't know, when I figured out that we were doing this New Jack type gimmick, I gave Worldwide. I said go to somewhere and spend $20 on as many weapons as you can fill that shopping cart with.
I got some shit.
You saw the wrestler, man. You know the dollar store.
Exactly.
Yeah, you did.
Exactly.
I hit the thrift store. I went ham.
You can find a lot of great stuff at that Value World.
But I will say you didn't get the one thing I asked you to get.
What was that?
I wanted you to have a VCR in that thing.
Dude, they don't fucking just throw
bullshit.
VCR, dude. They're
bullshit. Go to any Goodwill. Go to any Goodwill between Cleveland and no, they're $3.
They're selling them for $3 to $6. I can get like 2 computer keyboards for $3.
Did you get a computer keyboard?
Yeah,
that's a good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. It explodes.
Yep. But as well, some of the fans, Mal and Carl, might have noticed we're going to add extra trash cans around the building throughout the night to help our cleanup crew. So you'll see trash cans around. Please throw your trash in those trash cans. We'd greatly appreciate that.
Because we brought them ourselves.
We did.
Oh, that's a great point.
And then you guys go to the after party.
After party was beautiful. I walked into the
Crimson Mask.
Yeah, just like all dried up all over my face, and I walked straight up to the very capable and lovely bartender Jess, and I was like, "Hi, could I have a whiskey ginger triple?" And she's like, "Is that blood on your face?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm gonna give you a double." It's on me. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then proceeded to tear the house down, pillar to post, all over that fun house.
There's a great story that I believe young Josh Bishop was telling me, or no, it was Derek. It was Derek Director told me about as the Bev got his Japanese flag bandage on, as Steve Guy referred to it earlier, that Nick Gage feels bad for Bobby at this point and offers him his bandana, and Matt Justice asks, well, Nick, does that make Bobby gang affiliated now?
Giving him his colors.
Give him the colors, brother.
I definitely entered another state. I did not drive my car from Funhouse to other place, but we after partied, and many luminaries were there. Nick Gage was in my apartment. No one died. There was definitely a point where I sobered up. I'm like, Nick fucking Gage is in my
Nick Gage, very calm at the after party.
Yeah.
Very docile human. Also, big fan of Sierra Mist, or whatever it is that we had at the concession stand. Usually at the end of every show, I go, Nick, you good? Do you need anything? And it's typically a couple cold beers or something. And this time it goes, we got any like Sprite or Mountain Dew or whatever, and I think it was Sierra Mist. I bring it down to him, and I'm having a conversation with somebody. Nick doesn't care, just goes, bro, that lemon lime drink, perfect, hit the spot.
I have like the next level.
Okay.
Somebody approached this to old Nick, but I have a next level idea for a Nick Gage shirt where I just want it to be a list of things that he thinks are weird or he doesn't like, and then a list of things that he likes. And I think that's a great fucking Nick Gage t-shirt.
He was just like, lemon lime, probably right back
Lemon
to
lime
life."
sodas.
Okay.
Lemon lime soda's cool. Karaoke with Kenny Omega. Nah, I don't want to do that.
Buffalo Wild Wings, not cool.
Dot collars.
Well, I think that pretty much will wrap this one up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know anything else that happened, so I got nothing to contribute.
was a
We
doozy of a show.
did another show the following day at the Hookah Connection.
Had a barn burner.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a hell of a story I could tell about that show. Our camper.
Oh yeah. That for those of you that love these pop-up pro wrestling things that we do, where we do these random ring rentals. I believe Words Big 80s said it best on Twitter as I tweeted out a picture of where we were with we were at a hookah store with a Payday Loans place and a tobacco store right next to us. Only the finest in Sandusky, Ohio. We then find out that our locker room is an RV.
Yeah. So either way, we're in the RV, and mind you, I was on a liquid diet the day before. I had a smoothie and then a Monster protein and then a lot of alcohol. That was my diet the day before. So they had a hot dog cart that had like, it was donation based. So I got over the course of the day probably 4 hot dogs, and I was putting chili cheese, sauerkraut, like banana peppers, jalapenos.
You were the anti John Thorne on these hot dogs.
This next level, like fucking spicy mustard. I need to find out what that shit was. But anyway, so I ate 4 of these, and the last night started creeping in, and I let something out in that RV, and everyone had to clear that boy, and then Big Twan, unaware, walks in, and like he hit a force field, walks back. Oh god damn it! Someone was like, "That was worldwide," and Twan's quote while holding his face and trying not to vomit is that what Papa's is? What the fuck? And yeah, so that was just a fun one from that day.
Well, I think that's the best way to end it, Steve.
Yep, that'll do it right there for Worldwide, for Dominic Garrini, and for John Thorne. My name's Steve Guy. We'll talk to you next week on The Card Is Going to Change.
Covered in blood.